Bear down, Chicago Bears. We've got a lot of different stuff happening in this um, crazy place that we call free agency, in this crazy draft that we're about to go through. We have no idea what's really going on behind closed doors. All we have are ideas by which we think the Bears should do things. So we don't have any clarity in the market, but we do have Ryan Bates now, and we've got some information about Darnell Mooney, that Darnell Mooney, in fact, was offered a 3-year, $30 million contract by the Chicago Bears, and he declined, wanting to go ahead and basically test himself and see how he would do in this market, and it didn't go very good. However, I don't think that it's going to affect him overall, and he's still going to get the big money contract that he was looking for. He does have back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, so I think that that's going to speak as much in volume as what was going on previously. So make sure if you like this content that you hit the like button and subscribe button, and let's kick this off. And remember, this is the most believable channel in all of Beardom.
I can't wait till Friday. Everybody's getting sideways. Pass the bottle back my way. Everybody's getting sideways.
All right, guys. So the big news is the Bears have acquired offensive lineman Ryan Bates. Ryan Bates started 15 games for Buffalo in 2022 and was a backup for 17 games. Played in all 17 games this past season and has a couple of playoff appearances as well. He is a decent guy. He was received for a 5th-round pick. Now, that 5th-round pick was one of the only 6 draft picks that the Chicago Bears have for the 2024 draft, leaving a lot of people to wonder exactly what it is that's going on and where do the Bears go to get draft capital. And in fact, I did a mock draft today using this as my idea, and I ended up getting 12 picks. So I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's that difficult anyway. I do think that there are some trades that could be had, but any trade that makes sense or that makes the most sense with only 5 picks then becomes that you're passing on Caleb Williams. And make what you want of that. That's your call and your decision. If you like that idea, then you might be a Justin Fields fan, or you may like going to the playoffs next year, thinking that maybe your team has a shot at the Super Bowl or something like that. You can have a very good reason. I think that the Bears get the best chance with Justin Fields, but that's just my opinion. That's not me. I'm not the expert. Ryan Poles is the expert. At least I'm the expert in my opinion. Ryan Poles is the expert on that. He's got the job with the Bears, a job I should have, by the way. Anyway, so he hires Ryan Bates, or he brings in Ryan Bates pending results of a physical on the 13th for a 5th-round pick, somebody that they tried to sign 2 years ago and gave him an offer sheet. That offer sheet was matched by the Bills. This guy has some value to a team, but he is still, I think, in my opinion, probably not the starter that we're looking for. So I do feel like this is a decent move. It's not a great move in my opinion, but it is a decent move because what you did is you really got a serviceable backup, Cody Whitehair player for. And by the way, probably better than Cody Whitehair at this point, but a Cody Whitehair type player for a 5th-round pick. Now, if you can trade Justin Fields, then you can get a 3rd or 4th-round pick. It looks like in this market, a lot of people are saying 1st or 2nd, but there's nobody in the market that's willing to pay for that. There are a couple of sleeper teams that have popped up on the radar who might be looking for a quarterback, but we have a deep quarterback draft. First of all, we have a deep quarterback draft, number one. And then number two, in that deep quarterback draft, you really have to look at who can get what they might need to satisfy their roster requirements. And that creates a very different market for Justin Fields for a trade. Not that there's no value in Justin Fields, but if you're making a trade, it's very difficult to get the right value. However, Ryan Poles has done it multiple times. There's possibility here that this is going to work out brilliantly overall. So we'll see what happens, but he's appeared in all 73 games in 5 seasons with Buffalo. Made 19 starts. Didn't make any starts in 2023, by the way. But Bears are down to 5 picks. The Bills, by the way, have 10 picks in this upcoming draft. So I think this guy fits in pretty well. In the event that he becomes a starter, then it's probably at the center position, obviously. Tevin Jenkins and Nate Jones probably, or Nate Davis probably got that kind of locked up. This just gives us somebody to rotate so that we don't get so tired, if you will. I think that that's the case. I think that that's the case. But moving on, we also have Darnell Mooney. Who was offered a 3-year, $30 million contract, and then decided that he was going to, he was just going to try it for himself and see what happened. Um, and I don't think it worked out for him as optimally as it could have or should have. But I still think that despite that, he's going to end up getting a pretty good amount of money. I think that he's going to end up with he's going to end up with some big, big, big money, in my opinion. Okay, so we'll see what happens over here. And we do have an update, by the way, on Justin Fields. Um, and then this is insiders, by the way, that, wink, wink, hint, hint, nod, nod, really don't know, but they're making a decision on, they're making a decision on what they see coming out of everything is going on. So it's kind of weird. We'll go over it. It's not part of the topics today, but we are going to pop it in when we start talking about these potential alternative Justin Fields trade roles. But Darnell Mooney did not have the month or the year that he wanted to have. And it still says he's got about a 10.5 to $13 million market for a receiver. And look, Kansas City's looking for one of those speed demon kind of guys. And Brad Biggs, by the way, to his discredit, said that this was going to be a solid payday for him if he had turned it down. But I don't think I think the market is still pretty open for Darnell Mooney, and I think that most people saw the product on the field and they realized that the Bears had more problems than getting the ball to Darnell Mooney, despite the fact that there were, in fact, several different drops, obvious drops. That one, there was that one drop, and I made a meme about it, of him getting shot by Mario, because I got issues, but it just seemed like, I don't think that Mooney had a suboptimal season. I'll just say that. And as a matter of fact, let me I can pop this up for you guys, and then you can get mad at me or whatever. But when this happened, I because I can't help myself and I have boundary issues, I made a meme of Darnell Mooney, and I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this, but we're gonna do it anyway. So I made a meme of Darnell Mooney right here. And remember, this is the one where we could have won the game, or we could have. We had a chance to get a touchdown against the Chargers, and Darnell Mooney just fumbles it in the end zone right there. So I can't help myself. You know what I mean? I can't help myself sometimes. So the idea, though, is that he didn't have a great year. He's going to still get. He's going to still get. He's going to still get, whatever he gets. And here's the thing. If we go with this Darnell Mooney thing, and if we, I think he got put into a bad situation basically by the Chicago Bears. So I think that that's what's going to happen. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Is it Velus Jones? Ah, damn it. But I knew he had made a miss. I forgot that it was Velus Jones. God damn it. And by the way, Velus Jones still on the team. So anyway, we're going to move on now to, and sorry, Darnell, I forgot that wasn't you. Three sleeper trades that Chicago Bears could have in the Justin Fields um, sweepstakes, I guess. I want to say so now, because remember what we've had was we had the Atlanta Falcons who now want to move on to Kirk Cousins. They're not interested in Justin Fields. Now we have the Pittsburgh Steelers who say that they want to stick with Kenny Pickett. Now we have the Los Angeles Raiders who are like, you know what, we could draft. There we go. Mooney was the Hail Mary drop against Crittenden and the Browns. That was the opportunity. Yeah, that was the big opportunity. Right. That's the one. Yeah. But Chicago Bears are leaving the NFL Combine with a lot of information regarding the Justin Fields trade information, and the information is not good. So, like I said, the Raiders are looking. Maybe they're just going to go through the draft, and they're going to get their guy through the draft. Nobody seems to have a real interest in Justin Fields. So now the New York Giants have become part of this sway here, because they're going to move on from Daniel Jones. They're going to move on from Daniel Jones. Brian Burns just got tagged, so Brian Burns not likely to come, or if he is, it's a sign and trade deal. We should be getting an update today or tomorrow, by the way, on I want to say Jalen Johnson. I would imagine it's going to be very, very soon that we get an update on that. But the New York Giants have now emerged, but they're paying Daniel Jones $47 million. And they're gonna have to just move on. I think if that's not their guy, then they're gonna have to go get somebody. And look, you get Justin Fields for $6 million for a year. Maybe that's an opportunity for you to improve. That's at least the idea behind it. Also, you got the New England Patriots. But here's the thing: when somebody says that the number 1, 2, or 3 picks in the draft, that's going to be prohibitive. Like there's no reasonable what the Patriots could just sit at the number 3 and they could take a quarterback. They don't need Justin Fields as capital, and they're not going to give up selections. I don't think so. I really think that everything is lined up for and I don't know. I don't know. And the Dolphins, by the way, because Tua Tagovailoa, I mean, he's an unrestricted free agent. And they we'll see what he does next year. And it's Tagovailoa doesn't have a big cap, so maybe they become a trade partner in the event that there are trade partners, right? Like we're at this point. At this point, I don't think that Caleb. I don't think that Caleb's coming here. I think that there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't see yet, and there's an effort here probably to keep Justin. So, but I don't know that to be the case. I don't know that that's the case. It very well could be that I'm reading the wrong signs, and even though some of these things are obvious, I'm not really seeing the obvious pieces. But it feels to me like everything keeps moving towards move on from this pick because it just look. I mean, this is draft capital. I don't see in any way, like it escapes me how this team becomes better with Caleb Williams and less capital. It escapes me. Okay. And you could say, well, because he's a generational talent at a quarterback position, then I'm going to say no. I'm going to say I think he's really good, but you don't find out that you're a generational talent until you get into the NFL. Because here's the thing: Justin Fields in college had better stats. And if you don't believe me, I've made a video about it a couple days ago. You can go look at the stats. Okay, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. So I just don't see that you bring in a guy who was subpar to the guy that you currently have at quarterback in college. It just feels like to me that this is Lord Crimson asked, which was a better prospect, Caleb or Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence was beating the shit out of ranked opponents. So Trevor Lawrence to me would be a much better option. So, what I mean? The way that I see it, Yamadama Wiga says, now stats are important. Stats have always been important. Stats have always been important. From the 33 fumbles that Caleb Williams has in 31 games, to the 3 interceptions that he had in Notre Dame, they're all important. The stats are important. And this guy, Jesus fucking Christ, like you can't compare. I got it. I know You can't argue with, I think he does only got 182 yards. And that's the way you talk in my head. You're not going to convince me otherwise. But it seems to me it's very simple that Justin Fields represents a better option. He was a better quarterback in college. So why would he not be a better pro in the NFL? So Justin's 41 turnover in 32 games, 33 fumbles in 31. That doesn't include the interceptions, by the way, Padna. So, I mean, what are we arguing? What are we arguing? The guy played good in college. Caleb Williams played good in college. Hey, guy, give this guy a hand. Caleb Williams played good in college. So did Justin Fields. Better, in fact, than Caleb Williams. And he won against ranked opponents. Like, he beat ranked opponents. He went out there and won games when it was time to win games. He didn't come out and cry to his mother. He didn't paint his fingernails. He didn't wear dresses. He didn't do all of the things that Caleb Williams does. So if you got that attitude, it's cool. And yes, I do look like Lenny from Of Mice and Men. That was one of my first starring roles. Oh, I'm sorry, he beat Trevor Lawrence. Caleb Williams would never be able to do that. Caleb Williams would, put a towel over his head and it's, maybe. Anyway, but I'm picking on Caleb Williams. I shouldn't be picking on Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is already a very rich man and is about to be an even richer man. But here's the thing. There are plenty of opportunities for the Bears if they make these moves, but they're not going to get the draft capital that a lot of people are thinking that they're going to get. It does not look that way at all. So, but let's move on. There is a complete, we'll go over this one real quick, but there is a complete Bears mock offseason that came out about an hour ago from Isaac Zuniga. It was a free agency and NFL draft that he's going over, with the first step talking about, cap space, whatever they have, about $84 million in cap space with a re-signing. And he says that the primary, this is the idea here. He says the primary candidate for re-signing is Jalen Johnson. He's been steadily improving, but he'll receive the franchise tag at $19.8 million, which is what I said. But everybody else keeps telling me, oh no, he's going to sign before then. I don't know that he's going to do that. I think he's going to get franchise tagged. Other re-signs will include one-year deals with Patrick Scales, yes. Cornerback Josh Blackwell, yes. And Mercedes Lewis, 1 year, yes. That brings the Bears cap space to $60.49 million to spend during free agency. Now, the idea here is Christian Wilkins, a 1-year defensive tackle at $22 million a year. I don't know that fixes the line the way that they want to, but I actually I like this idea. Like I like this idea of Christian Wilkins. I don't like the idea of a $22 million price tag. So if you're a Christian Wilkins fan, guys, I'm not telling you I don't like Christian Wilkins. I just don't like $22 million worth of Christian Wilkins in the middle of my line. However, what I do like is that motor, right? I do like that motor. You know what I mean? So at 1 year, 22 million. I don't like it. Connor Williams, 3 years, 22.5 million. I'll take that. That's Connor Williams coming in at $7 million a year. And by the way, there are multiple centers that we can now start to look at. Remember, in my drafts, I usually come up with Zach Frazier, stuff like that. Like there are possibilities here. And this guy would change my draft dramatically. In fact, but that's a pretty good, a pretty decent contract here. And then Tyrod Taylor, 2 years, 9.5 million, 6.5 guaranteed. He's an NFL veteran, just in case you need a backup, somebody like that. He's available. Jeremy Chin, safety, 1 year, 3 million. This excellent under the radar kind of guy. You know what? I'll grant that. 1 year, 3 million for your safety. Again, I would go out and get him in the draft, but that's this guy's draft. KJ Osborne, wide receiver, 2 years, 10 million, 5.5 million. I would take that. That fits into my slot receiver sort of role, depending on how this guy drafts. I might like some of this here. And then Romeo Aquara, edge rusher, 1 year, 2.75 million. Adding Romeo will add extra depth to the Bears edge rushing unit. There is no depth at this unit to begin with. I don't know why he says, I don't think he understands, but let's just go with it and say he provides a dynamic and formidable edge rushing duo for the Bears opposite Montez Sweat. I don't think so, but okay. Let's just say that it is. Now, round pick, round 1, He's going to take Caleb Williams. And then round 1, pick 8, which he's going to trade with the Falcons to take Roma Dunzi. Okay, which is, I mean, that's cool. Like Caleb Williams, Roma Dunzi, that's fine because now I have I have a quarterback. I have DJ Moore, and look, even if Caleb Williams is the quarterback, he's going to be okay. He's not going to be an absolute and complete bust. The guy does have some talent. He does read defenses pretty quick. He does have playmaking ability. So, I kid people because they're like Caleb Maxies and I just don't like Justin Fields. And I mean, I can't make you smart, but you do you, boo boo. But you trade up here for the Falcons 8. The Bears move up one spot with Justin Fields trade and snag one of the 3 tier. Okay, so what they're doing is they're saying that they're going to trade Justin Fields, and that's going to somehow give them the ability to get the 8 pick out of the Falcons. The Falcons no longer looking at Justin Fields, by the way. So, you know what I mean? So the Bears move up one spot with the Justin Fields trade. Roma Dunzi is a perfect fit for the Bears at 6'3", 215. He's a bigger body receiver that will mesh well with DJ Moore. Dunzi's ability to catch contested passes and react late to the ball with his hands makes him impossible to guard. His 99.91 out of 10 RAS will definitely catch Ryan Poles' attention. And that's good. I'm actually good with that. And then Tyler Nubin. Now, Tyler Nubin comes into me all the time. As center or as a safety for Minnesota, and round 2 pick 43. That's actually a good one. I would take that one. That would not be too bad. This, of course, presupposes that what we're getting is we're going to get a Falcons trade, which would allow us to trade up 1 and pick up a number 43 pick, which is a round 2 pick. Which again, this team is looking for somebody else. So. But let's go with it still. Tyler Nubin, so that solves Eddie Jackson. Round 3, pick 75, Cedric Van Pran. This is the Georgia guy. This is the center. This is our future center right here. And he's going to be backing up at first. He's smart, athletic center who's excellent pass blocking, which the Bears desperately need on the offensive line. He should develop into the Bears center for the foreseeable future. But you got Connor Williams for 3 years. You're going to hold him for 3 years and you're going to let him play for a year. Like that's, I don't know. But hey, it's round 3, pick 75. The guy's not going to get that much money at that point. So maybe I feel fleeced, by the way, if I were somebody like this in this position. But okay, Cade Stover. Now we've talked about Cade Stover multiple times. Tight end out of Ohio State. Bears have a massive need at the backup tight end position with Robert Tonyan likely leaving during free agency. He is not coming back, by the way. You should complement Cole Kmet and create a pass catching duo at tight end, which should be good. And that would be a potential move right there. And again, Mercedes Lewis, if he gets re-signed, that's your blocking tight end. We'll see whether Cade Stover is a good blocker, So in the NFL, that is. Round 4, pick 123, Braylon Allen, running back out of Wisconsin. Braylon Allen is an athletic freak, just turned 20, 6'2", 245. May seem like a slower running back, but his nimble feet and quick decisions may prove otherwise. He has good hands and should become another fantastic running back in the NFL. Braylon Allen, big guy. By the way, I told you guys yesterday that I liked Isaac Guerendo, the running back out of Louisville. The reason that Isaac Guerendo was in Louisville was because Braylon Allen was in Wisconsin. So, and remember, Isaac Guerendo he was setting the charts on fire at the scouting combine. Ran like a 4.3 40 as a running back, just ridiculous leap jump. And the guy knocks people down. So, but that was the backup in Wisconsin. Round 5, Zach Zinter, offensive guard at Michigan, heart and soul of the Michigan Wolverines, true competitor. Is quick off the snap, excellent hands. Good idea. So the starting offense now looks like Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Connor Williams, Nate Davis, and Darnell Wright, with wide receivers being DJ Moore, Roma Dunzi, KJ Osborne, Cole Kmet, Cade Stover, Caleb Williams at quarterback, Khalil Herbert as your starting running back, Braylon Allen is their RB2, and Roshan Johnson is RB3. I don't like that ranking, but let's go with it. Edge rushers, you've got Montez Sweat, then you got Christian Wilkins, Andrew Billings, and Romeo Aquara. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think Aquara is the game changer, but I mean, we're gonna have to get it in the position that we can, right? Left outside linebacker is going to be Jack Sanborn, then Tremaine Edmonds, and then TJ Edwards. perfect. Like, I love that setup. I think these guys, and by the way, I love Jack Sanborn. He's been kind of a ball hawk lately. And by the way, if you noticed, Sanborn, Edmonds, and Edwards were having some trouble tackling at the early part of the year. I hope that they get ready for this year. I hope that the team is ready because they did not look ready at the beginning of last year. Then you have Jalen Johnson, Tyler Nubin, Jaquan Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson, and then Kyler Gordon as your nickel. So there you have it. That's what this guy came up with, and that's his draft results. And I don't have a problem with this. As I read through it more and more, I think, I guess you filled a lot of the different positions and a lot of the different needs. So shout out to what was that guy's name? Isaiah. Isaac Zuniga. I don't know. But that's not actually bad. But let's go with my draft because my draft was better than his draft. Also, the news that there were updated plans, and this I'm going to bring up to the big screen here. Multiple insiders confirm Ryan Poles' updated plans for Justin Fields. Now, this is multiple insiders, so they must know something. For the past month or so, the feeling was that the decision on Justin Fields, they would trade the former first-round pick and focus on taking a quarterback. It was the hope Ryan Poles could find a new home. This would allow the Bears to focus their efforts. However, it appears the market is not cooperating. Albert Breer provided an update and says, while Poles would still prefer to get something worked out before free agency opens in less than 2 weeks, it appears he may have to wait for other situations to get settled first. In an ideal world, the Bears would be able to go through a complete process in assessing this year's quarterbacks class before deciding what to do with Justin Fields. Alas, the world Chicago is living in now isn't such an ideal one. Simply put, it's not practical for Chicago to wait until mid-April when the spots available for veteran quarterbacks across the league have filled up to deal off Fields. It wouldn't allow for the Bears to maximize his value. It also wouldn't be doing right by Fields, which is what Chicago GM Poles told the media he wants to do. For now, though, while Poles has positioned the Bears to trade Fields in the coming days, he's also open to waiting a bit if it takes time for the quarterback market with Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield as headliners to develop. The key is the team has flexibility. Chicago will be realistic in finding the right return for the 11th pick in the 2021 draft. It's probably not getting a first rounder, but it hasn't been working off any assumption that it will be. Instead, the Bears have looked at historical data points as models. And then Breer got support from Brad Biggs, real buzzkill of a guy. He's hinted for weeks that the Bears would move on from Fields. It was only a matter of time, while some believe there's a sense of urgency for Poles to get something done. That is not what Briggs has heard. If anything, it's the opposite. The general manager seems fully prepared to wait things out. By the end of the week, multiple sources I spoke with suggested Poles was really at ease, with no one talking about a golf simulator he had set up in his hotel suite. The message they delivered was Poles didn't strike them as an executive who was feeling any pressure to hammer out a deal. Two sources wondered aloud if he had the bones of a deal in place already, maybe or maybe not. So the idea now is that he's not going to make a move until he gets the best offer. But look, I don't know if there is a best offer. This is there's just there's no way to in my opinion here. Like there's no way. Like I see that everybody wants Caleb Williams to be that guy. I mean, I see it. But I'm gonna go with Merrill Hodge saying that the guy's a problem and that he's not gonna make it. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. And Ryan Poles doesn't have to make a move. But look, and here's the thing: like you're basically crippling Justin Fields if you do that. If you make that move and you don't do it, then you really are kind of crippling your team. And it seems, it just seems to me like this is going to end up being bad. So here's I'm going to do is look. I'm a Bears fan first. I'm a Justin Fields fan as well, but this is all about the Chicago Bears and what I feel is best for the Chicago Bears. And I don't feel that taking Caleb Williams and having 5 picks or even trading Justin Fields and getting one more pick and making it 6 is what this team needs or should have to improve it. So I'm going to give you my draft and you guys make what you will of it. And if you like it, good. If you don't like it, that's okay. I didn't need your approval. Anyway, so I traded down, first of all, and I got Marvin Harrison Jr. at the number 2. I don't remember who took him number 1. I assume it was because it was number 2 was the Washington Commanders, took Caleb Williams. And then at number 9, instead of, because they had taken Roma Dunze, Malik Neighbors. I didn't really need another wide receiver, but for that purpose, also Brock Bowers was taken. So my choices were really J.C. Latham. Let's go ahead and say Braxton Jones represents a problem, and we're going to want to bring in a backup for him. So I brought in J.C. Latham, top pick offensive tackle available at this position. So I went ahead and took that one. And then I waffled on Dallas Turner and the Watu Latu, thinking that, I can reach down because, again, I like Darius Robinson every single time, especially if I can get him at the number 36. So I was taking a shot here that I would get him at 36, and lo and behold, I did get him at 36. And then at number 40, I was able to make a trade and get Zach Frazier, which is the second best center in this draft, which really solves part of my problem. Doesn't solve the whole thing, but in the event that he needs a little while to get used to the speed of the NFL, if he needs a little bit of time, we have Ryan Bates, so, and he can play center. So there is some positional stuff here where I think that this is a pretty good move. Then at number 67, I traded down and took Chris Jenkins, number 67, defensive tackle out of Michigan. Number 75, I took McKinley Jackson, defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. Then I took Jaden Hicks, safety at Washington State at number 111. And then I made another trade and got Christian Mahogany, offensive guard out of Boston College. And I got Matt Goncalves, offensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. Then I reached and got Luke McCaffrey because I thought, you know what? Who knows? If you got Luke McCaffrey on your squad and Christian goes up for free agency, maybe they'll want to play together. You never know. So he's basically going to be a backup at this point. I don't think that at 173 he represents. Maybe this is that tough guy in the slot that takes the. If he's got the work ethic of his brother, could be wild. Now Tanner McLaughlin, tight end out of Arizona, I took as a prospect potential. And then I took another safety at number 231, and that was Dominique Hampton. And I did that because I wasn't really sure that Jaden Hicks was the guy that was going to work out for me. So I wanted to have a backup safety just in case, a development piece, by the way. And, by the way, at some point, I might even be able to cut Dominique Hampton in, preseason because he's not working out, just in case. You know what I mean? Like sometimes lower picks don't work out. And then I got the 2025 Washington first round pick because I had traded that first pick for Marvin Harrison. So now I got 11 picks in this draft, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 12 picks in this draft. And then off of that, I got the number 1 for the next year. And B Shep 23 in the house says, quarterback 1, Justin Fields, RB 1, Saquon Barkley, RB 2, Roschon Johnson, wide receiver DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Washington, tight ends Cole Kmet and Brock Bowers. That's a tough. That's not an impossible get. I was hoping to get exactly the same thing, by the way, with Marvin Harrison and Brock Bowers at the 2 and the 9, but Brock Bowers got taken at 8 in this draft, so I wasn't able to. But yeah, that would be a fantastic. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on Saquon Barkley because of the amount of money that it costs to bring him in. So I'm not really a gigantic fan of Saquon Barkley. I see the talent and I see what he does on the field, but I also see that, in my opinion, Khalil Herbert represents a pretty good option as well. And Roschon Johnson. Roschon Johnson, by the way, tied Darnell Mooney for receptions at 38 receptions on the season for the Chicago Bears. So it's not like we don't have an adept backfield already. So I don't know that represents the best of options. But I mean, who knows really? You never really know. So, but that's my, this is what I think this is to me. I got 12 picks out of this and turned it into quite. And by the way, I just kept trading. I kept trading when some options came up. I stuck with Justin Fields. I'm going to stick with Justin Fields until the trade is done for Justin Fields. Then we're going to move on from it. And then I'm going to move into, still trade down, still take Marvin Harrison, and then take it number 9, JJ McCarthy, or whatever other, you know what I mean? I know, Michael, I know that was Velus Jones Jr. I forgot that was him. Yeah, I know. So anyway, and the hate goes on for Caleb Williams. So anyway, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think we covered this. Is pretty good. I'm gonna, if there's anything that pops up, we did a live stream last night. We might do another one again this evening. If any kind of news pops up, we will try to keep you informed to the best of our ability. In the meantime, that's it, guys. You have a good day. Bear down, and we will talk to you again very, very soon.
I can't wait till Friday. Everybody's getting sideways.